Please welcome screenwriter and Vice President of the Writers Guild of America, Mr. David Wiess.
Thank you very much. Thank you. It's great to be here in Washington, D.C. Washington does Chabad. That's perfect. Also nice to find out there's going to be a Chabad at Pepperdine. I'm one of the probably few Pepperdine grads that are here. The school is run by the Church of Christ. And I was a member at the time I went there. We'll talk more about that tomorrow in my talk. I spent 15 years doing evangelism in the church before I came back to my Jewish roots, and it's good to be back. Thank you. Tonight, thank you. Tonight, we're going to talk about creativity, because that's what I do for a living. And since we're all made in the image of our Creator, we all have a little bit of Creator in us. How does that process work? Well, the American Scientific Magazine did a little bit of research for us, and they showed us the creative process. And let me start by just saying this. When I first thought of this, I thought, this is going to be spectacular. You guys are going to learn about the creative process. And I said, this is awesome. And then I said, wait a second. How am I going to explain that in 10 minutes? It's taken me 25 years to figure out the beginning of it. So then I said to myself, this is tricky. No, this is going to be a disaster. This is going to be horrible. This is a mess. What have I gotten myself into? No, wait. It's not a mess. I'm a mess. I'm an idiot. What was I thinking? 10 minutes. Please, they got a little clock going here. I got 6 minutes and 36 seconds left. What am I going to do? Wait, I know. I'll talk about that part of the process, the hard part, the part where we freak out, all of us, whether we're planning a family vacation, whether we're writing a paper for school, whether we're trying to figure out which direction our marriage is going in, whether we're a rabbi working on our sermon for the high holidays. We all hit that spot where we go, this is bad, I'm bad. And then what do? Well, we push through it miserably, and then we go, hey, this is awesome. And that's the creative process. There's another model. Looks like this. This is how I work. Work begins at the beginning of the process. Then we procrastinate. And we do that for most of the process because the problem is the deadline is here. So now what? Well, the next step of the process is obvious. We panic. Panic sets in. We freeze up. We don't know what to do. We curl up in a ball under our desk. And then the breakthrough. All the work while crying. Anybody relate to this? Thank you. Thank you, my people, my people. Let's go back to my first model. The first model goes like this. This is awesome. This is Scientific American, folks. This is awesome. This is tricky. This is Drek. I am Drek. Hey, this might work. This is awesome. And then what happens? We go back to this is tricky, because then you get the feedback. You thought it was awesome, but then the reviews come in. And the reviews are only so-so. And then you don't know if your career is going to happen. So now it's Drek, and I'm Drek. And then it goes back to, hey, this might work. And it goes on and on and on. How do we break the cycle? That's the question. Well, here's what I do. I go into the mine every day and work. Okay? I'm looking in that mine for some diamond or some bit of gold. And to do that digging, I don't really dig with a chisel. I'm a writer, so I drive around a lot. Because if you can tie up the left side of your brain driving, your right side of your brain is free to think and have crazy thoughts. So you don't write down your ideas when you're driving, you just think them, okay? Then I usually will take a shower. Because they say, not with her, they say, I'm just saying, I'm a married man. She just happens to be on the slide. I actually want you to know I fixed this slide for you all because she used to be shown down to the shoulder. And I thought that's not appropriate not for Washington does Chabad. But there are apparently negative ions that come out of your shower and they spawn more creativity. So that's when you find yourself singing in the shower and having a good idea. Thank your shower. Then I take a walk. Because walking, again, ties up the left side of my brain. Not too fast. Walking too fast, I have to look where I'm going. I'm thinking. Walking too slow, people think I'm a freak, and they run away. They stare at me, and that draws my attention away from what I'm doing. But I have a turtle, and I watch him walk, and he is amazing. He just walks, and he gets places, and you look, and he's gone. And so I walk like that, just sort of thinking, letting my brain process. hoping desperately to find that bit of gold for the day. Frequently, I don't find the gold. I ask questions too. That's the other thing, is I'll sit and type and ask questions. Because questions will keep your mind engaged. What is this about? Who am I trying to reach? What do they like? What do I like? Who's my main character? Who's my audience, right? And then I find the lump of coal. And then I panic, and then I think I'm wrecked. So we're back to the cycle. What do we do? Okay, so here's the thing. The problem with this process is that we have this horrible illusion that we are in control. Anybody suffer from that? Any control freaks in the audience? Right? Anybody call themselves a perfectionist? It's a ridiculous name, because what it really means is intolerance. I can't stand anything that isn't perfect, but I never did anything perfect. So I'm always freaked out because it's never good enough. So what do? Well, I once gave a talk up in Scarsdale, and the rabbi said, talk about Wiess. Yaakov went to Haran, which sounds like Hollywood. In fact, I think the gematria, the numerology, is the same if you add 1, divide by 6, and subtract 3. Hollywood, Haran, it's almost the same thing. Because what happened? They change your wages. You think you're casting this beautiful star, Rachel, and they give you Leah, and you don't know what's going to happen, and you're freaking out. So what does Yaakov do? What does he do? He does a couple things. He goes to sleep. The first thing he does in Wiess is he takes a nap. What does that tell us? He had faith. To go to sleep when you're worried says, you know what, I don't run the world. I'm not in control. Who's in control? My Creator. Go to sleep. What's he do next? He takes a meeting and he offers to give 10% of anything that God gives him, gives it back. I'm going to give it back to you. So you go to sleep, you take a meeting with God, and you offer to give 10%. Then what's he do? He works really hard. 7 years for Rachel, 7 years for Leah. They change his wages. That happens to me. I get messed around all the time in Hollywood. Deals changing constantly. When I was younger, I'd say, well, I think I'll steal some pencils. That'll make up for it. Yeah. No, I think what I'll do is I'll take a long lunch break. I'll come in late. I'll make a Xerox copy of my face. Or I'll make a Xerox copy of something else. But that doesn't get me anywhere. A little revenge tastes good, but I don't get anywhere. So what do? You let go of the control and you acknowledge who's in charge of the ideas. That's Hashem. He's my creator. I can't create anything without him. I didn't make my brain. If I have a good idea, I can't say I did this. It was in there. So I go back to work. And I dig in the mind. And I do it every day. And now I say to myself, this is God's mind, and it's God's mind. And I'm going to go in there today. I'm going to sit in my office, and instead of freaking out and panicking and wasting all that time procrastinating, I'm going to go, you know what? I'm not in charge of the outcome. I can't be. The Talmud tells us that we can't know the outcome. 3 things are hidden from a person, according to the Talmud. Which business will fail or succeed is my favorite one. We can't know that. The second one is the day of our death. I don't want to know that. And the third one nobody knows because it's hidden from a man. So, since we're out of control, let's just go back to work and say, guess what? This is the day the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it, whatever comes. So when I go back into the mind, I should have this attitude. Instead of the panic, let's switch to gratitude. You know what? I'm not in charge of the outcome. Did I get some sleep? Did I let go of my cell phone for a minute and say, you know what? You run the world. The Messiah is not going to come on Google tonight. My email is not going to tell me that I have found the business that's going to make me rich. I need to go to bed. This is one of my favorite Psalms that I memorized when I was in memorizing mode as a Christian. Psalm 127, unless the Lord builds the house, they labor in vain who build it. Unless the Lord guards the city, the watchman keeps awake in vain. It is useless to rise up early, to retire late, to eat the bread of painful labor, because the Lord gives to his beloved while they sleep. If we're grateful when we go in, and we make the process the goal, and we put our trust in our Creator, every day when we come out, whatever we accomplish, we will have found gold. Thank you very much.